The trade outpost on Valur 9 buzzed with activity, its domed marketplace a chaotic blend of alien tongues and the clatter of commerce. Neon signs flickered in a dozen scripts, advertising wares from across the galactic concord. Amid the crowd, a human girl, Lila, no more than 10, darted through the throng, her ragged tunic flapping as she clutched a stolen fruit from a vendor's stall. Her brown eyes sparkled with mischief, her bare feet quick on the metal floor. Above her loomed Officer Zykra, a Tovari enforcer with segmented limbs and a carapace that gleamed like oil. Her compound eyes locked onto Lila, who'd been dodging her patrols all week. "Thief!" Zykra hissed, her voice a shrill buzz. The crowd parted as she lunged, her clawed hand striking Lila's cheek. The girl hit the ground, the fruit rolling away, her face stinging red. Lila scrambled back, tears welling but defiance burning brighter. "I was hungry," she shouted, her small voice cutting through the market's din. The onlookers, merchants, traders, and spacers from low-gravity worlds, murmured but did nothing. Humans were rare here, tolerated but not respected, their Deathworlder origins dismissed as barbaric. Zykra raised her claw again, her mandibles clicking in disdain. "Learn your place, vermin." Before the blow could land, a shadow fell over them. A human woman, Mara Kell, stepped forward, her lean frame taut with restrained fury. Her scarred leather coat marked her as a freelancer, her blaster holstered but ready. "Touch her again," Mara said, her voice low, "and you won't walk away." Zykra laughed, a grating sound. The crowd watched, tense, as the Tovari officer towered over Mara. "You dare threaten me, Deathworlder?" Mara's eyes never wavered. "Not a threat, a promise." Days later, Zykra's severed head lay at the feet of the Galactic Council, a silent testament to human wrath. Mara wasn't just any freelancer. She'd grown up on Earth's brutal frontier, surviving raiders and predators before carving a name for herself in the Concord's lawless edges. Lila was her charge, an orphan she'd found scavenging on a wrecked colony ship. Mara had taken her in, teaching her to survive in a galaxy that saw humans as little more than curiosities. Valur 9 was their latest stop, a neutral outpost where Mara traded salvage tech for credits. But the outpost's Tovari enforcers, led by Zykra, enforced their own brand of order, preying on the weak, especially humans. Zykra's strike on Lila wasn't random. It was a message to keep the Deathworlders in line. In the marketplace, Mara helped Lila to her feet, her hand gentle but her gaze hard on Zykra. The girl's cheek was swelling, a bruise blooming. Mara's jaw tightened. She'd seen too many like Zykra, bullies hiding behind badges. But this time it was personal. "Get to the ship," Mara told Lila, her voice calm but firm. The girl nodded, clutching Mara's hand before slipping into the crowd. Mara faced Zykra, who brandished her shock baton, its tip crackling with energy. "You'll regret this," Zykra said, advancing. Her fellow enforcers, 3 more Tovari, closed in, their claws clicking. Mara's hand hovered near her blaster. "Last chance. Walk away." Zykra swung the baton. Mara dodged, her reflexes honed by years on Earth's high-gravity planes. She drew her blaster and fired, the bolt catching Zykra's shoulder. The Tovari staggered, her carapace scorched. The other enforcers charged, but Mara was already moving, diving behind a stall as plasma bolts seared the air. The market erupted into chaos. Screams, overturned crates, aliens fleeing. Mara used the confusion, slipping between stalls, her smaller size an advantage against the bulky Tovari. She fired again, dropping one enforcer with a shot to the leg. Another lunged, claws slashing. Mara rolled, kicking his knee out, then slammed her blasters but into his skull. The third hesitated, then fled. Zykra, clutching her wound, roared and charged. Mara met her head-on, ducking a wild swing and driving her shoulder into the Tovari's midsection. They hit the ground, grappling. Zykra's claws raked Mara's arm, drawing blood, but Mara twisted, locking the officer's arm and snapping it with a sickening crunch. Zykra howled, thrashing, but Mara was relentless, pinning her and delivering a final blow to her head. The officer went limp. Mara stood, breathing hard, blood dripping from her arm. The crowd stared, silent. She didn't wait for their judgment. She ran, heading for her ship, the Reaver, where Lila waited. The outpost's alarms blared as Mara and Lila boarded the Reaver. The ship, a patched-up freighter with more scars than its pilot, hummed to life. Mara plotted a course to jump before Tovari reinforcements arrived. Lila, her cheek bandaged, watched from the co-pilot's seat, her eyes wide but trusting. "They'll come for us," Lila said softly. Mara nodded, her hands steady on the controls. "Let them try." The jump took them to the edge of Concord space, a lawless fringe where Mara had allies, other human freelancers, outcasts who'd learned to thrive where the galaxy's rules didn't reach. She contacted them through a secure channel. Her message brief: "Zykra crossed a line. Need backup." The response was immediate. Humans were few in the Concord, but their loyalty ran deep. Within hours, a dozen ships rendezvoused at a derelict asteroid base. Pilots, mercenaries, and scavengers, all Deathworlders who'd faced the galaxy's contempt and come out stronger. Among them was Kale, a grizzled ex-marine with a cybernetic arm, and Terran, a sharpshooter who'd once taken out a pirate frigate single-handed. Mara laid out the situation. Zykra wasn't just a rogue officer. She was part of a Tovari clique exploiting human traders, using their authority to extort and intimidate. Hitting Lila was just the latest escalation. The group agreed Zykra and her kind needed a lesson, one the Concord couldn't ignore. They planned a strike. The Tovari operated from a fortified station in Valur's orbit, a hub for their enforcement fleet. Mara's team would infiltrate, neutralize Zykra's inner circle, and send a message to the Galactic Council itself. It was risky, suicidal even, but humans didn't back down when one of their own was hurt. The assault was surgical. Mara's team slipped past the station's defenses using stolen Tovari codes, their ships cloaked in salvaged stealth tech. Inside, they moved like ghosts, disabling security drones with EMP pulses and taking out guards with non-lethal shocks. Mara led the charge to Zykra's command center. Her blaster ready, Lila's bruised face burned into her mind. Zykra was waiting, flanked by elite Tovari guards. "You think you can challenge us?" she sneered, her injured arm braced in a sling. "Humans are nothing." Mara didn't answer with words. She fired, her bolt grazing Zykra's carapace. The guards charged, but Kale and Terran were ready, their weapons cutting through the Tovari ranks with precision. The fight was brutal, fast, human reflexes against Tovari strength. Mara's team fought as one, their Deathworlder endurance outlasting the aliens' arrogance. Zykra fell last, her claws slashing wildly as Mara closed in. It wasn't clean, but it was final. Mara stood over the officer's body, her breath heavy, her arm bleeding anew. Kale dragged Zykra's head to the station's comms room, where they hacked the Concord's broadcast system. The Galactic Council, convened on their pristine station in the core worlds, froze as the feed cut in. Zykra's head hit the floor at their feet, a hologram projected through the chamber. Mara's voice followed, cold and clear. "This is what happens when you touch our children." The council erupted in outrage, but the message was sent. Humans weren't just survivors, they were a force. The broadcast spread, reaching every outpost, every ship. The Tovari faction was disgraced, their leaders recalled. Mara's team vanished into the fringe, untouchable. Mara and Lila returned to the asteroid base, the Reaver hidden among the rocks. The girl, her bruise fading, trained with a small blaster, her aim steady under Mara's watchful eye. The other Deathworlders celebrated, their laughter echoing through the base. They'd struck a blow for their kind, a reminder that humans didn't bow. The Concord tightened its laws, but whispers of the Deathworlder uprising grew. Mara knew they'd made enemies, but she also knew they'd earned respect. Lila, watching the stars, asked, "Will they come for us?" Mara smiled, ruffling her hair. "Let them. We're ready." The galaxy would learn. Cross a human and you'd face them all. Zykra's head was proof, dropped at the council's feet, a warning carved in blood.